Hello everyone, hope you guys are having a great day. It is March 25th, and today I am back with another video. I did live stream earlier. I don't have enough time to do that again, so I'm just going to be doing a normal video. But as you guys can see today, we did have a high risk for severe weather urge. This is very rare to have two high risks in March, and it's even more rare. Well, it's very rare to have two high risks in the same month, really. But it's even more rare for them to happen within 8 days of each other. We had one just last Wednesday, and today we have another one. So you can see this is our high risk for today. This varies of southern Tennessee, and then central and northern Alabama, eastern Mississippi, and that's pretty much it. 30% SIG tour risks. That's very significant. A 30% wind threat, SIG threat also, and a 30% SIG hail threat. And we'll go ahead and we'll look at tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday later in the video. Let's just kind of see what we have going on right now. So first off, let's go and look at the public's the public severe weather outlook, so we can get kind of a zoomed in image of the high risks, or the high risk. Sorry. So we can see cities in that high risk is Florence, Huntsville, Gadsden, Birmingham, and Columbus, Mississippi. Cities in the moderate risk is Jackson. That's Jackson, Tennessee. We have Columbia, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Clarksville, Tennessee, Chattanooga, and Meridian, Mississippi, and also Tupelo, Mississippi. Then in the enhanced risk goes all the way up into Evansville, which is in southern Indiana, and it goes all the way down to Hattiesburg. And then our slight risk goes all the way down to, or all the way over to Atlanta, all the way down to New Orleans, and even the Gulf Coast. Then all the way up almost to all the way up to Cincinnati. And our marginal risk goes all the way up into central Ohio and further up there. So pretty significant day. And then what we have going on right now, we can look at things like instability. Most of the instability is kind of in this area here. We have still 1,500 ml Cape in this area, and 1,000 kind of in this area roughly. Or no, not that area, sorry, this area. So our storms still have plenty of energy. The ones that are in central Alabama, up in Tennessee. Plenty of energy today. Energy wasn't really a problem. And we can go to wind shear, like a bulk shear, to effective bulk shear. We have a lot of bulk shear across really the whole southeast. There's a lot of bulk shear today. And we can look at SR helicity, surface of 3 kilometer. We have 700 in North Georgia. We already have our storms right now along the cold front. We have around 650 in some areas, maybe 600 to 300. So we have plenty of helicity. We have had really good shear today. That played into a part, and we had good storm mode. We had many supercells today. They weren't extremely isolated supercells, though, or some of them were embedded in rain, but we did have a lot of tornadoes today. And we go ahead and look at storm reports. I'm not going to do any pre-rating because I don't support pre-rating, but I've seen images of damage, and there is extensive damage in some areas of central Alabama. And some of it looks to be maybe, this is all I'm going to say, some of it looks to be maybe EF2 or higher. So that's all I'm going to say for pre-rating. I'm not going to really pre-rate it at all, but that's what I'm going to, that's just what I've noticed from damage photos. And we can see we've had 15 tornado reports today. That's not a significant number, but if you guys remember what happened last Wednesday when we had that high risk, that number continued to go up, and now we have around 50 reports from tornadoes. And I expect this number to go up also, because we could still have more tornadoes as we go into tonight and into even early tomorrow morning. We also have a lot of hail reports up close to the low in Kentucky and southern Indiana, and even some large hail reports. We can see we have one here in northern Tennessee and one down there in southern Mississippi. We've had a lot of wind reports and hail reports. We had a supercell, or a storm of supercell characteristics go through North Georgia and into South Carolina. It was 20 to 1 for a pretty long time. That brought a lot of damaging wind and hail. We can see that indicated right there by all those wind and hail reports in South Carolina. So yeah, pretty active day for severe weather by far. And yesterday, we can see, we had a pretty cool day. Or not cool, but we had a pretty big day around the Dallas area, a lot of hail. And a few tornadoes to the south of Dallas and Fort Worth. So, a couple pretty big days. Today is a high risk, which it's pretty We haven't seen this in a long time. Two high risks within 8 days of each other, and even two high risks in March. Pretty sure it's been 30 years since we've seen two high risks in the month of March. So that's pretty cool. Uh, but today was not a good day for many areas in central Alabama. Uh, we had two pretty strong tornadoes, two that have really catched my eye in central Alabama, and we'll go into that tomorrow as we have preliminary surveys on them start to come out, and we'll look at what what the preliminary rating from the National Weather Service is for those. And yes, I'll continue to update you guys every day on what actually happens with tornado ratings. And we go to tomorrow, we have several marginal risks. We have a marginal risk in the northeast, which that's pretty unique for this time of year. We don't see that very often. And we have a marginal risk across the south with that with the cold front, and then marginal risk in Kansas along another low. And we have a secondary, or we have a fourth marginal in northern Mississippi, northwestern Alabama, areas of Tennessee, and eastern Arkansas. So pretty active day tomorrow. No significant severe weather expected, but areas in these marginal risks can expect isolated, significant to severe storms. So tornado threat, we have two 2%, one around our low in the northeast, and one around our secondary low, or our low behind the first one in Kansas. Now, this low that's going to be bringing the 2% to the northeast tomorrow, or the interior northeast, that's the same low that is bringing our severe weather today or high risk in the south and the Ohio Valley. So, and then tomorrow we're going to have a new one in Kansas that's going to bring severe weather over the next couple of days. And tomorrow that's just a 2%, but we go into Saturday. Saturday, the SPC is expecting an interesting day. We have a slight risk that goes from Arkansas into Kentucky and southern Illinois. Now, just by looking at this reminds me of another day. Now, I'm going to go back to, we're going to look at the day 3 outlook for this day real quick. Let's go to severe thunderstorm events. It was last year in April. I remember that. Just go to all. Scroll through all these events here. I think it was April 8th. If I can pause, it was April 8th. Now, just by kind of looking at this outlook, it kind of reminds me of April 8th. No, it may not look completely similar to April 8th, the one for Saturday, the slight risk we have, and the marginal. But there's something about it that looks like April 8th again. Now, I'm not saying we're going to have a significant event or anything, but just the outlook looks like April 8th. We're going to talk about Saturday in a second. We're going to look at some models for it and stuff. So let's actually go do that real quick. So let's look at some models for Saturday. Saturday the 27th. So we can see tomorrow we have even a chance of some severe weather across the northeast. Let's take some soundings up there. It's kind of weird to be talking about severe weather in the northeast this time of year. Believe it or not, we have instability enough to support some kind of weaker storms. We have enough shear. We have winds veering of height, looking pretty good. We have nice speed shear also. Decent lapse rates. Surface lapse rates kind of suck, and we have a decent HODO also. Not terribly enlarged or anything, but we do have a decent HODO. So that would support maybe a 2% risk for tornadoes. I can see where they're coming from with that. I mean, if we have enough clearing and if we have sun come out, we could even maybe get a 5%. Now I know I may sound crazy because this is the northeast in March, but these soundings have decent shear. The only problem is this thermodynamics. Take a sounding up in northwestern Vermont, lower Cape, or we don't have a lot of instability. Kind of some weird shear profiles right there. That would most likely only be at 2%, maybe even a no risk, but we could see maybe a 5%. I'm not saying it's completely likely, but I wouldn't be surprised if they put a 5% in. That's pretty rare for the Northeast this time of year, but I think there's a chance of it if we can have enough clearing and instability. And so we have a severe weather threat in Kansas tomorrow, and in the southeast along the same cold front. And Saturday, we have another big day, and that's with our low that ejects tomorrow, so... Or not ejects, but, yeah, we can see this is Saturday evening. Take some soundings in Missouri. This is slightly contaminated, but we can look at it. This is a terrible sounding for tornadoes. I'll say that right now. Uh, the Hodo, the chances of getting a tornado out of that's pretty very low, actually. This would be a severe sign. That we have steep surface lapse rates, pretty decent pretty decent lapse rates, and 61-degree dew point, and we have plenty of instability. So this would support severe weather for sure. Now tornadoes, no, but severe weather, yes. Take a sounding in Illinois, central Illinois. We can go with. This is a better sounding for tornadoes for sure. We have a little bit of capping. Once again, instability is pretty marginal, but we do have enough. And we have plenty of shear. Now shear is kind of a problem. The shear profiles don't look perfect for this. We do have shear. It is existing. Of course, this is not like a 10 sig setup. This is likely a 2%. This would probably get a 2% risk for tornadoes, maybe a 5% if you're lucky. That's what you could get out of that. And that one moves to the northeast. And the NAM kind of shows a line forming, and that'll move southeast. And this is actually a better sounding. We have pretty good instability around 1,500 cape, decent lapse rates, not surface lapse rates. LCLs, this is going to be mainly surface-based storms, and shear, pretty good. We have a decent Hodo. This would be a 2%, maybe a 5% sounding. So I'm kind of watching maybe this. It's going to be kind of a broad area. We're not going to go too far into it today, considering we just had a high risk, and I want to focus on the high risk, but we could see maybe a 5% risk for tornadoes by tomorrow. I'm pretty sure we're going to see that. We'll talk about that in tomorrow's video again, of course. And then as that line is further to the southeast, you can see we do have actually talk about this real quick. We do have let me find it, day 4 outlook, and this is for Sunday the 28th. And we have a 15% for areas of Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Cities in that is Charlotte, Virginia Beach, Raleigh, Norfolk, Greensboro, North Carolina. Columbia is almost in that. And we can see, with this line moving further to the southeast, we could see some severe weather on Sunday in areas of maybe Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia are the areas that the SPC is watching. You can take some soundings in these areas here. See what kind of environment we have. This is not a bad sounding. Now, not perfect for a lot. This is not perfect, but this would be mainly a severe weather sounding. We have pretty bad instability. This shear profiles, though, this is not terrible. Decent looking first part of the Hodo. That would be a 2%, 5% sounding, I'm thinking. Take one for Columbia. Little bit better with instability, but shear's a little bit worse. Looks to be mainly a messy storm mode or linear sounding. And yeah, we can take one in southeastern Alabama. Not terrible. Shear is existent. If you get anything out of this will be a 2% risk. Now, what I'm talking about these percentages is I'm talking about the SPC's tornado risk. Like, so today we had a 30 sig, which that's very rare, of course. Even a 15 sig is pretty rare. But yeah, so it's looking like we could have maybe several 2% and 5% sort of that over the next upcoming days. We can take one in central Georgia. We're here, kind of around the Macon area, and once again, not very good. We have very marginal instability, and shear profiles are decent, but this looks to be mainly a messy or linear sounding, or messy storm mode or linear sounding. So I'm not really thinking too good of a risk right now for this day. Now, first of all, the NAM doesn't really go out too far or far enough for us to see the whole thing. If we can get instability maybe on the backside of this, the first line that dies out, it kind of starts to indicate maybe a second line forming. We take some soundings with that. This is a terrible sounding for severe weather. I'll say that right now. We have terrible cape. Not terrible. We have a little bit of instability, but we don't even have good shear. We have winds backing of height. and they're out of the west too. So that makes it seem like this is behind the cold front. And yeah, that Hodo is terrible. So with that sounding, what I would mainly expect is that's probably after the cold front. So what would happen even if this is winter? It could be maybe a band of snow if this was winter and we had cold air. We don't really have a whole lot of cold air setting in behind that cold front. So we're not going to get snow with that at all, of course, but just some rain. But yeah, so I'll have to see what the SPC does with that for day 3 tomorrow. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. I hope you guys have a good rest of your Thursday.